until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides on political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Thank you for joining us on CoreTV News on the hour. I am Ebunlomo Adekunle. Nigeria's military has confirmed that a Boko Haram commander who has been posing as Abubakar Shekau in videos was killed in Konduga. It also hinted that the real Shekau had since died and Bashir Muhammad had been appearing in propaganda videos released by the insurgent group. Per Samuel reports that this is the first time the military would declare Shekau dead. We, however, warn viewers that they may find some of the footages distasteful.
Speculations about the death of Shekau have been in the media for some time now. There were also suggestions that it was his look-alike that was gunned down in Konduga, but there were also claims that neither Shekau nor his body double was shot dead. Now, the military has come up with video evidence showing that the man who had been posing as Abubakar Shekau is the same person killed in battle. It also dropped hints on the fate of the original Shekau.
The convoy of combat vehicles, which is typical when the mission involves their top commanders, were fiercely engaged by the land and air forces that were there to keep watch. In the process, several of the terrorists, including some of their top commanders, lost their lives in the encounters, which lasted an average of about 5 hours each time. In the process, the troops were able to capture some of the terrorists as well as their equipment. That's in addition to those that died. And in the course of those encounters also, one Mohammed Bashir, who has been acting or posing on videos as the deceased Abubakar Shekau, that eccentric character that is known as the leader of the group, died in that operation.
There had also been controversy over the identity of the troops that killed the Boko Haram commander. But the Nigerian military insists that its soldiers were solely involved in the operation.
We can say categorically that no foreign force of any type penetrated this country to the extent of getting to Konduga. All that we have shown you there took place in Konduga. And Konduga is some distance, very good distance from our borders. And that's the much I can say. Whatever other claim is out there, I'm not in a position to defend the purpose.
The military authorities say the recent victory has not only lifted the morale of troops, but also broken the ranks of the insurgents. Defense spokesman revealed that in recent days, over 100 terrorists have surrendered with their weapons.
A total of about 135 terrorists have yesterday evening surrendered along with their equipment to troops around Biu, local government area. A group of 88 submitted themselves at Meriga Bunyadi, while another group of 45 terrorists were taken in around Mubi and Michigan. They're all being interrogated and processed in conformity with the dictates of standard best practices.
And as the war against insurgency continues, the Nigerian military says it will continue to conduct land and air operations to stop the terrorists in their tracks. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The police authorities say 2 out of the 20 policemen that escaped from the attack on the mobile training school in Goza have died. Acting Inspector General of Police Suleiman Abba said at press briefing that another police personnel declared missing has also resurfaced. He, however, reaffirmed the police commitment to locating over 15 men who are still missing since August.
We are still making efforts to locate some of our colleagues that were missing after the attack. What is promising is that even early this week, on Monday, we received information that one of them has surfaced. Cannot tell you that any one of them, other than the ones we know, the two we have told you earlier on, that we have confirmed that yes, they have died of their injuries and their corpses were recovered and even handed over to their families and buried with all honors. We cannot tell you that anyone has died apart from those two.
As Nigeria prepares to mark 15 years of democracy, the federal government says it will do all in its power to restore peace in Northeast region. Information Minister Labaran Maku made this pledge on the sidelines of this week's Federal Executive Council meeting. He also lamented that trillions of naira spent on combating insurgency in the region could have been used to improve other sectors of the economy.
Ensuring that we make progress and unite the rest, bring peace to that part of the country, which is a key economic zone. You know, because if you look at the Lake Chad region, depends on Borno State and Yobe. It's a huge area that is bigger than many countries in Africa. So returning peace there will speed up the economic development of Nigeria and the prosperity of our nation.
The House of Representatives has launched investigation into claim that some lawmakers were given $50,000 to frustrate debate on the controversial $9.3 million seized in South Africa. This was after a PDP member from Taraba State, Albert Sam Sokwe, raised the matter on the matters of privilege. He identified an APC legislator, Ali Madaki, as the man who raised the allegations, which he insists tarnished the image of the House. Madaki admitted to making the claims to a journalist, but says he had no concrete proof. Deputy Speaker Emeka Ihejioha, who presided over the sitting, however, referred the matter to the House Committee on Ethics and Privileges for investigation within 2 weeks. It's the CoreTV News on the hour. We'll take a break and we'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
There is an Ebola virus epidemic in some West African countries. The Nigerian government wants you to be aware and watch out against the spread of Ebola in your community. Help keep our country safe and watch out for severe cases of fever, headaches, diarrhea, chest and abdominal pain, sore throat, cough, red eyes and bleeding from the eyes, ears and nose, especially when these symptoms are found in persons coming into Nigeria from other West African countries. Protect yourself. Wash your hands regularly with soap and running water or use a hand sanitizer. Avoid contact with the blood, urine, feces or saliva of animals like bats, monkeys, gorillas, chimpanzees or infected persons. The Ebola virus is deadly. Don't catch it. Don't spread it. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar says he's seeking to become Nigeria's president because the country appears to be on autopilot with no one in charge. He cited the lingering security situation and low human development index to justify his stance on non-existent government and poor leadership. Atiku Abubakar also promised a government with zero tolerance for corruption and nepotism.
It was one of the worst kept secrets in Nigeria's politics. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar had several weeks ago made it known he was joining the race for the presidency. And now he has formally declared his interest at an elaborate event attended by his political associates.
Gentlemen, welcome Atiku Abubakar.
The former vice president was quite emphatic in declaring his readiness to seek his party's nod for the 2015 elections.
With the support of millions of Nigerians desirous of change and the hard work by all of us, the APC shall form the next government of this great nation. I have, therefore, decided that I will, by the grace of God, along with other respected leaders of our party, seek nomination as a candidate of the APC to contest the presidential election of 2015.
For a man who is a veteran of several political battles, he did not hold back in throwing barbs at the Jonathan's administration. Atiku recounted the achievement of the Obasanjo years and concluded that the incumbent government has fared worse.
Government has a responsibility to do everything possible to hold the ongoing dehumanization of Nigerians. Unfortunately, what we have is a serious governance deficit. To put it bluntly, our country seems to be on autopilot with no one in charge. Ladies and gentlemen, we need a strong, dynamic, decisive, competent and visionary leadership that can halt the current drift of the ship of state, fight corruption, create jobs, rebuild our infrastructure, provide social services and tackle insecurity in a decisive, robust and multi-pronged way. This is the change.
He argued that Nigeria needs a strong visionary leadership and promised to head a government with zero tolerance for corruption and nepotism.
The murder of Aziz Ashake, a member of the All Progressives Congress, has sparked off arguments and accusations between the deceased's family and one of the major political parties involved in Sunday's shootout among political thugs, which occurred on the Lagos Island. Oluwaseyi Adigoke visited the late Ashake's family and brought back this report presented from our studio.
This is the reaction of family members and neighbors of Aziz Ashake, who was said to be murdered by some political party thugs in Lagos.
PDP, àwọn ìyàwó Rafiu Abiga Báṣọ̀run òun ni àtọlọ́kọ dáná ńlọyìn níbọn Kazeem olóko dáná nídìí kíni nídìí nǹkan méjì ìpè wọn gbé branch chairman tán gbé fásitì Àṣàkẹ́ ó dẹ̀ tún wá rí pé nítorí tiẹ̀ òun ò ní rí gbà ó lọ sí PDP torí APC ló wà ó cross lọ PDP ló wá ní pé àfi tóun bá rí pé òun rẹ́ǹdì yẹn.
ó ṣe mítìn tán nínú complex ń bẹ̀ yẹn ó bọ́lẹ̀ báyìí tó wá síbi bíi tán jókòó tán ṣe fàájì náà wá pè é pé àwọn ọmọ PDP tó ń bọ̀ láti race course pé wọ́n ti attack àwọn boys ẹ̀ ń bẹ̀ yẹn ló lọ síbẹ̀ pé láti lọ scare àwọn pé ẹ má jà ó stop àwọn ti bí ó stop àwọn tọ̀hún pé ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ jà òun lòun ò fẹ́ wàhálà kí ni wàhálà òun pẹ̀lú Abija ti ríra àwọn ti sọ̀rọ̀ àṣàbíjà wà láàrin wọn àtolóko dáná wọn nígbà tó máa yí sí ọ̀dọ̀ gúrùpù wọn báyìí wọn kàn bìlà fún wọn láàrin àfi gbáàwù láyà.
wọ́n fi ṣèkà fún wa ní o kò múra jà o olóhùn lọ jà o.
Reacting to the allegation against the People's Democratic Party, the party state publicity secretary Ganiu Taufik says the allegations are false and unsubstantiated.
The APC has become a party that is always quick to cry wolf, especially when they are involved in dastardly acts. It is commonsensical that members of the same family should ordinarily not fight themselves. So why will anybody come up with the argument that after a PDP rally, PDP members started fighting themselves and then their target was to kill an APC member? That is very incredible to believe. What happened, as part of what I've been told, was that some APC members laid ambush on our members who were leaving the TBS premises. And as our members on the island were going on their streets on same island, the APC members fired at them. Of course, that is logical, because if you saw the mammoth crowd on that day, you will know that any sitting government will be intimidated if an opposition can have such mammoth crowd. So we believe that the mammoth crowd that they saw that day intimidated them and unwarrantedly provoked them.
Lagos State Police Public Relations Officer Ngozi Braid declined comments over the incidents.
The Ekiti State House of Assembly has summoned the Commissioner of Police and the Director of the Department of Security Service over recent disruption of proceedings and assault of those present by hoodlums at the State High Court. Rashid has more in this report.
The Ekiti State House of Assembly expressed shock at reports of an invasion of a court proceedings by thugs. The lawmakers argue that more worrisome is the fact that the thugs carried out their act in broad daylight in the presence of security forces.
A situation where judges and lawyers were being chased around the court premises, attempting whether to kill or beat them, as the case may be, it's a dangerous dimension. The security agencies in Ekiti State to live up to their social responsibility. Because it is only when they live up to their social responsibility that we can have atmosphere of peace. What stops hoodlums from invading Ekiti State House of Assembly?
However, the police in Ekiti State said it should not be blamed for the unfortunate situation.
Security was provided at the court premises, but the hoodlums, they came in their thousands and they scaled the dwarf wall of the court into the court premises. At that point in time, the security men, the policemen in the court premises called for reinforcement, and between the time they called for the reinforcement and the time the reinforcement actually came, some other things happened. The prompt intervention of the reinforcement forestalled what would have been a colossal and monumental damage.
The Ekiti State House of Assembly, among other resolutions, summoned the leadership of the police and Department of State Security Service for detailed explanation.
Condemn it as barbaric. One. Two, invite the Commissioner of Police and the Director of SSS to come and make certain clarifications, because they are in charge of security of the state, to come and make clarification on that particular issue. Then three, that the House Committee on Judiciary should actually look and investigate, both what actually led, to such an ugly, situation.
The news of the court invasion has attracted condemnation from far and near. Residents in Ekiti State say they are hopeful that investigation by the House of Assembly will prevent future occurrence. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
Meanwhile, the Ekiti State chapter of the Nigerian Bar Association has joined in condemning the recent invasion of the Ado Ekiti High Court by hoodlums. The NBA described it as a desecration of the Temple of Justice. Protest also reared its head as another stampede allegedly targeted at disrupting the court from further hearing of the E11 case against the governor-elect, Ayofayose ensued. Again, Rashid brings this report.
Is rocking the Ekiti State High Court sitting in Ado Ekiti may be far from over, as early protesters stormed the court premises with plans to stop further hearing of the case between the E11 and governor-elect Ayofayose. The case was, however, put on hold. After the protest, the Ekiti State chapter of the Nigerian Bar Association converged to condemn what is becoming a trend.
Our heartfelt abjuration and condemnation of, one, the desecration of the hallowed temple of justice in Ekiti State. Two, also the fears already inflicted on the psyche of his revered officers or priests of that temple of justice.
The lawyers frown at the plan by politicians to drag the court into the mud, a move they say signifies imminent danger for the judiciary.
This type of ugly incident will be the last time the political class in the state will ever venture to extend their penchants or mischiefs into these hollow chambers of justice. If our political leaders allow the public to lose confidence in the law courts, they will be cutting a serious anarchy in the system, the end result of which nobody can fathom for now.
With the security threat posed at lawyers and judges, especially after the ugly Monday incident, the NBA has compelled the police to fortify the court with adequate security.
The bar strongly recommends to the Commissioner of Police to provide accurate security for the judges in high, volatile, and celebrated cases, such as the ones under reference, to carry out his duty.
However, the renewed threat, according to observers, appears far from over. Rashid, CoreTV News.
The police high command has again assured Nigerians of adequate security before, during, and after the 2015 elections. Acting Inspector General of Police Suleiman Abba said at a meeting with senior officers in Abuja that all parts of the country would be adequately policed. He also promised that the police would improve on its strategies in the ongoing fight against terrorism in the country.
We have made adequate arrangements to make sure that the police provide sufficient security to all the activities leading to the polling days of the election. These activities have started, and they include the registration of voters, the primaries, the selection of candidates, their screening, the conventions by the parties, and many others, including the very important one, which are the campaigns.
It's the CoreTV News on the hour. Take another break and we'll be back with a story outside Nigeria. Don't go away.
Glad to have you join us on another edition of The Political Arena, the most detailed and incisive political show.
If you are a sitting governor and the opposition is able to stomach structure against you, that means you are wicked to the people.
They gave me 20 minutes to move or they will shoot me.
He has no chance for survival. If he likes himself, this is the best time to get out before he perishes.
The PDP as a ruling party has failed.
So anybody who thinks that government will fold his hands and allow miscreants to take over the streets of our own state and cause havoc is deceiving himself.
The good, bad, ugly, and beautiful sides of the Nigerian political system. Join me every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. on CoreTV News.
France has confirmed that an Algerian jihadist group linked to Islamic State militants has beheaded terrorist Hervé Goudel seized on Sunday. John Al-Khalifa killed Goudel, 55, after its deadline for France to halt airstrikes on IS in Iraq ran out. John Al-Khalifa posted a video of Goudel being killed, which was entitled "Message of Blood for the French Government." He is shown on his knees with his hands behind his back in front of 4 masked armed militants. He is allowed briefly to express his love for his family before one of the militants read out a speech in which he denounces the actions of the French criminal crusaders against Muslims in Algeria, Mali, and Iraq. The beheading, the spokesman says, is to avenge the victims in Algeria and support the caliphate proclaimed by IS in Iraq and Syria. French President François Hollande has condemned the killing as a cruel and cowardly act. It says the French airstrikes, which began on IS targets in Iraq last week, would continue. The group has also threatened to kill Alan Hennin, a taxi driver from the UK, who was seized while on an aid mission to Syria in December. And that's it on the news for this time. Do join us again, top of the hour for more. Thank you for watching. I am Ebunlomo Adekunle.